At the top right, we have ourselves the red Zerg. It is Daddy X Tim. And the bottom left, we have ourselves the blue Terran. It is These Nuts. So These Nuts, I believe, is Ghost. He's from within the Twitch community, that the StarCraft Twitch community. Frequent visitor flow, and the visitor of my stream as well. If you want to tune in, you can come to twitch.tv/SeoulStEaL. And These Nuts gonna go ahead and send a scouting SDV across the map against his opponent right after the depot. And at the same time, our Zerg opponent here, Daddy X Tim, is gonna go ahead and get himself a fast expand. Standard opening from the Zerg so far. And Ghost is going to go ahead and get himself 2 racks here. So I'm anticipating the Reaper play. This isn't against the Protoss, so it's got to be against Reapers. I mean, it's got to be Reaper play. And like I said, Zerg is doing kind of a standard opening. The only thing that's a little bit weird to me is how he's rallying his natural hatchery into his main. I feel like that's unnecessary when your main's going to be already saturated by the time that your natural's finished. But this scouting SCV, going to see everything, but not really going to... Oh no, we're not seeing Reaper play. Okay, he's going to get a... Ghost is going to go ahead and get a reactor on his first barracks. Has not started his orbital yet, but does have double gas. I still wanted to believe that this was Reapers, but with the reactor, he can't afford 3 Reapers at a time right now. So this, to me, looks more like a stim timing attack, stim Marine Marauder. Orbital is coming in now, quite a bit late though. The reason why you want to get the orbital early is that way you can get yourself the mineral boost from the mule as fast as possible, because it's going to help you with expanding and getting more production up sooner. We do have the Marines now in production, and we do have a tech lab now on the way. So this is a 2-on-1 opener from These Nuts here, which is a pretty strong opener, but it has kind of fallen out of fashion at the pro scene as of late. It's not as popular just because oftentimes now Zergs are just prepared for the double Marine drop at the highest level, or even just in Diamond onward, but it still can catch people off guard and do a lot of damage to Zergs. Now we have ourselves a 3rd hatch on the way from Daddy X Tim, but no expansion yet from These Nuts, so I'm not sure what he has in store. My guess is that he wants to expand after the 2-1-1. He wants 2-1-1, if I could talk properly. He wants to hit as soon as possible and then expand behind it. And I can't expect him to be thinking that 2-1 is just going to outright kill a Zerg, because it really shouldn't. The only way it should ever kill a Zerg is if the Zerg, 1, never scouts, and 2, never makes Zerglings. And Ling speed is nearly complete now. And there's still no Ling, so he could actually just outright kill the Zerg at the moment. But Zergs are basically the reactionary race. They react to what their opponent's build is, what their opponents are doing, and they plan accordingly. This Ling is going to come out into the natural and see that there's no expansion, so the Zerg should be hella scared right now as to what the hell Terran is up to, and should not bother expanding any further. If you expand too often without having at least some units on the map to defend against a 1 base, you could end up taking terrible damage to your economy and possibly just lose the game. Sorry, I had a little bit of a disruption with my Discord. Unfortunately, we have botters. Even after I changed the channel, the link invite to the channel, bots are still making their way in. Anyway, we have double medevac on the way. It's a 14 rather than a 16 Marine push. The 2 Marines, there are 3 Marines here now, but the 2 Marines that could have jumped in were left behind, forgotten about. And yeah. So we have ourselves double medevac now coming on into the main of the Zerg. The Zerg does not really have any. He has 11 Zerglings, and no, he has 7 Zerglings in total. And this medevac drop is going to do terrible, terrible damage to the main, and possibly could even snipe that fire here. These lings are going to go down. Oops, sorry, did not mean to close production. We have more lings on the way, but it's not going to be enough. This 14 Marine drop is doing immense amounts of damage. The banelings are going to come on in, and the fire does get sniped, but the banelings are going to come on in. Is Ghost going to be able to snipe? No, he's not going to be able to snipe. The Marines do get cleaned up for the most part. 3 Marines are still alive, and now Ghost is forced to retreat while the Zerg has just taken quite a hefty blow to their economy, and being stuck on 10 work. Oh, no, sorry, that's army supply. 26 workers after being on 3 bases for so long. Losing 21 workers to 14 Marines is ridiculous. 4th base is on the way, and these nuts Ghost is good to see it. Still only on 1 base, but with the 2nd CC that is down. We do have 2 more barracks in production here, so we have ourselves the Marine tank push coming soon, but will it be soon enough to prevent well, before the Zerg just out macros the Terran? Not sure yet, but this Liberator is gonna spot the 4th base, but it's not gonna really be able to do anything. There's nothing really here. The most that it could do at the 4th base right now would be kill the larva. Not a single spore has been produced though by the Zerg, and this Liberator just hanging out, chilling. Coming on in now to the natural expansion of the Zerg, and he's gonna get 1, 2. Gonna get a lot of damage. 6 worker kills before it starts killing lings. The Queen does find a nice sweet spot to pick at it for free, and the Liberator still manages to get another worker. That's really good, really good for these nuts here. No wall though at the natural for the Terran here, so without there being a wall, there's nothing to really stop Lingbane from just flooding in and killing whatever they can. Even with these siege tanks and these Marines, if there's enough Lings and Banes, they can outright just kill the Terran. There is now a wall being queued up, but that 3rd siege tank is going to block the command center from being added into production. Not sure what else to really call out right now. The spire has been, it's nearly complete. It was replanted. Don't know where it is though. Oh, it's actually at the 3rd base, right in the front, kind of in the bad spot, and not kind of, it is in a very, very bad spot here. The location of the spire, very prone to being besieged upon by siege tanks and Marines. It's very accessible to be attacked. We have 6 mutas on the way. This Liberator is going to go ahead and plant itself over here. So as these nuts is F2ing, the Liberator will not follow with the rest of the army. This is almost the entirety of the army. This is control group though. And the medevacs do get spotted by Lings and Banes. This is more than enough units though for Terran to deal with. Like, Terran can kill all of this. Not a whole lot of Zerg. And we just have some well, Ghost targets and fires those Banes, or just, well, he kills most of the Lings outright. There's just a few mutas out for the Zerg. This Terran push is pretty scary for the Zerg. If he can target fire the Banes with whatever, he has way more Marines than there are Lings on the field. If he just target fires the Banes, he will just outright win this fight. And yeah, there's a bit of little bit of over micro here, but now there's more mutas out. So even with the muta count, the Marines will outright kill these mutas and can kill the Bane. Just gotta target fire the Banes, but the mutas are coming in over here, wanting to pick off the siege tank so the Lings can come in freely. One siege tank looks like it's gonna get picked off here. The Marines are targeting the mutas. These tanks do mostly go down. 2 out of the 3 tanks do go down, but the last siege tank is holding on for dear life, and these mutas are going to fly back into the 3rd to, well, hang out with the Queen. But these mutas are not going to be enough to deal with this bioforce, and the Zerg is going to be forced to evacuate. These mutas are still getting picked off left and right and center, and we have more Lings coming in from the flank, which is excellent for the Zerg, but there's just not enough Lings. Well, the mutas are going to go ahead and chase the medevacts as the Marines are going to get cleaned up by the Lings, but not before the Zerg took terrible damage. And we have more Marines at the natural expansion for Ghost to help reinforce his medevacs here. Most of the medevacs unfortunately did go down, which is obviously not ideal, but Terran is still in the game. Zerg is unfortunately still in the game and still has a little bit of a lead here, even despite being on 4 bases. It's not as big of a lead as you would hope for, though, for Zerg. But the Zerg is floating a lot of resources. A lot of minerals and gas are being floated on by the Zerg, and they can't spend it. They are not injecting efficiently, and that's just how it is when it's not the highest level of Zerg play. But that's not why we're here. We're not here because we always want to see the highest level of games. We're here because we want to see the good games. So it doesn't matter if you're bronze or GM, as long as the games are good and entertaining, that's all that matters. But doesn't mean that we can't offer constructive criticism, which is just that the Zerg is not injecting as often as they should. They had a few high energy queens. This Liberator is going to come on in and deny mining at the natural expansion. These Lings are not going to do anything to attack the Liberator, nor the Banes that are coming on in here, but the Liberator does get cleaned up before the drones are able to go back into mining operation. But now the Zerg is being dropped down solo on the resource collection. No, it's not the resource collection. Solo on the worker count that Terran is catching up, and Terran is just now getting the 3rd base. Ghost gonna come on over here and flank while the Zerg is anticipating this. They may have even seen it. Yeah, they did. They did see it with one Ling. Ling Bang Muta coming on in here, gonna possibly get. Well, they didn't commit to the engagement, but they did get a few Marine kills here. Ling Bang Muta still coming on in. They really want to go, but they know that there's Woodamines over here. They do not trust their microing capabilities, which is completely fine if you don't trust yourself right now. It's all part of learning. Still no Bane speed, though, unfortunately for Zerg, which is what's hurting them the most right now. Bane's speed does just now complete, though, and now roly-poly Banes are going to make this a lot easier to maneuver your army. But the F2 battles are real. Zerg really needs to throw a few throw a few Lings in at a time. But here we go, the Banes and Mutas. Unfortunately, the Banes fell back and screwed up, and almost all the Banes died to one single Widowmine. The rest of the army is going to come on in here, and that was a really good connection there with the Banelings. There's still a high Marine count, but the Banelings, the few Banes that the Zerg still had, were just enough to take out most of the army. Well, they weren't just enough. It was enough to take out most of the army here. But these 3 Marines, well, it was actually 4 Marines, I thought. It was 3. But anyway, these 2 Widowmines are going to get terrible damage done to these Marines. Mutas, and most of the Mutas do go down. I'm calling everything by the wrong name today, it seems. Mutas are now Marines, and Lings are now Marines, and oh, man. But yeah, these 2 Widowmines need to be cleaned up here, but they're not. The Zerg has not made any move towards cleaning up those Widowmines here. The longer these Widowmines stay, the more value they gain based off the amount of kills that they're able to pick off. Parent is pushing again now through the middle. He wants to, I would say, throw the Zerg off from thinking about those Widowmines, maybe. Just wanting to find another point of contention. These Marines are falling back. There's just not enough ground army to help support the Muta count. These Widowmines, oh no. Oh, that was so close. It was just like half a second off, I would say, before those Widowmines would have shot. And now this is the opportunity that Ghost is looking for, being able to get these Widowmines planted right next to 3rd base of the Zerg and getting easy picks on this 3rd base location. These Lings do push forward. Excellent connections for the Terran, barely doing any friendly fire damage. Wink, wink. But a lot of the Widowmines did hit only the Zerg, so. And GG, these nuts takes the game. Ghost takes the game. and our opponent GG's says something very nice and tasty. He's telling Ghost to kiss his sister. He says, "Go kiss your sister." Something. So yeah, the Zerg wasn't too thrilled about how this game panned out. But if we want to go ahead and criticize the Zerg for a little bit, the Zerg had hardly any larvae, so they didn't inject efficiently. Their trades were atrocious. As we can see here, Zerg losing over double the amount of resources. If anything, it was really close to triple the resources lost for the Zerg. So lack of injects, inefficient control, bad micro in general. Just lots of F2ing from Zerg. Not as much from Ghost with the F2ing, which was good. You could tell that they were using control groups because the army that was down here at the Natural didn't move with the rest of the Medivacs as he was controlling the Medivacs. The Liberator was planted here so he wouldn't accidentally move if he F2'd. Which there's nothing wrong with F2ing, just there's scenarios where it does screw you over. So yeah, the Zerg, when it comes to upgrades, if we look, upgrades, Terran was ahead on the ground, but behind on the air, because they didn't have any air units, whereas the Zerg had air, so they had +2 for their mutas, but yeah, their muta count just didn't have enough mutas to be able to deal with the Terran ground army. So anyway, that's it for this replay. Hope you guys enjoyed the replay cast. If you would like to submit your replays, you can submit them at seoulreplays@gmail.com. That's SeOUL replays@gmail.com. Or you can submit them in my Discord. It'll be in the description down below. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.
Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that video just now. If you wouldn't mind clicking that like, subscribe, and the bell notification down below, really appreciate it. Also, be sure to follow me on my Twitter and Twitch.